My name is Sam, and this is my rabbit, Fluffernutter. He's a pretty chill dude. When I got him, he was about 9 months old, and I got him back in August, which puts his cute little birthday right around Easter, which is all well and good, you know? Everyone knows that bunnies are for Easter. However, what most people don't realize is that Easter is actually a very dangerous time of year for rabbits, because bunnies, although super cute and fluffy, don't make great pets for children. A lot of people think that bunnies make great pets for little kids because, oh, they're cute, they're fluffy, they're so friendly. However, bunnies are prey animals. They aren't predators like us. So they get anxious and they get nervous and they can lash out at children and little kids if they get messed with. They don't want to cuddle. They just want to mind their own business and hop around. Unfortunately, most parents don't realize this. Along with this, most people think, like, how long do you think bunnies live to be? 1 to 2 years? No. Bunnies live to be 8 to 12 years, and they're the same kind of commitment as you would have to give a cat or a dog. Sweethearts. They're absolute love bunnies when you get to know them and you take care of them. They're great pets. However, people don't realize that they last so long, or that you need to get them spayed or neutered to help curb the aggressive habits that they could pull out on little children or other people. They get grumpy just like people do. Which makes Easter a very dangerous time, because this is when people think it's a great idea to get a bunny, a cute little friendly loving thing for their little girl or little boy. Unfortunately, it's not good for the rabbits. 80% of rabbits bought and rescued around Easter are dead or discarded within the year. According to National Geographic and the most well-known rabbit society in America, leading up to Easter, this group gets 1 to 2 calls a week about discarding, about loose rabbits or rabbits they want to give up. However, in the 6 weeks following Easter, they get 4 to 3 calls every single day about rabbits that have been unleashed on the world, or if they want to give up and abandon. It's really not a good time for them. Although Easter is fun and cute and great, everybody loves Easter, right, Fluffernutter? You should stick to chocolate bunnies. Chocolate bunnies don't have nearly the same kind of commitment as real ones. Fluffernutter here is only so cuddly because I've had him for so long, but he was an Easter bunny, and his sad story is that his breeder bred him wrong, so he's got this cataract on this side. He's completely blind over there. So instead of taking care of him or still trying to give the bunnies to a good rescue, this crooked breeder took all of his rabbits in Fluffernutter's batch and just dumped them off at a dog shelter. And my other bunny, Izzy, who's a very sweet girl, also an Easter bunny, she had to be rescued from being feral because people got her as a little baby and they're like, oh hey, we don't like this rabbit, and just tossed her outside. A lot of people don't realize that when they're releasing their rabbits out into the wild, it is an automatic death sentence for them. Because they don't have the same instincts. They aren't prepared for predators or foxes, any of those other nasty things that lurk in the wild. They prefer to stay inside and be fluffy and hop around. Another example of how bad the bunny industry is in our immediate area is actually a Petland store out here in Fairfax, Virginia, has been under investigation by the Humane Society of America, specifically the Virginia chapter, and they found over the course of a year 14 dead rabbits. When they died, they just put them in a plastic bag and just put them in the freezer. These rabbits weren't receiving veterinary care or the help that they needed. They were just being discarded and hidden. They're very loving animals. They're still, they're animals. They aren't like humans. They don't have super higher level thinking, but they still have feelings. They can still be scared, and they can still love. It's really hard to imagine just how difficult it can possibly be. Like if you were a newborn baby and you grew up and you were starting to maybe become a teenager, you're a little child, you're 6 years old, you're being kept in this pen, and these giant, weird, unfamiliar creatures were reaching down and grabbing you and doing all these unpleasant things to you, and you just kind of felt sick. You didn't know how to deal with it. And you started getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And then you were so scared, and you're living in that scare and that pain, and nothing's getting better until you die. These bunnies don't get adopted out easily, and when they are, they're not in necessarily good homes. they're shoved in bags and left in a freezer. On that note, if you do choose to adopt a bunny for Easter, you need to look into the effects. Rabbits live to be very old, as I've said, and they aren't super cuddly. Fluffernutter here is cuddly because I've had him for so long, and also I'm familiar. He doesn't usually come out on the porch, so he's kind of freaked out about all this. He doesn't really know how to feel about it, but I'm the one familiar thing, so he's putting up with me for now. But I can guarantee you he's not a fan. Rabbits require a lot of care and keeping that people don't necessarily realize. They need brushing, they need hay, they need greens every single day. We have to keep a ton of green food on handy, and the costs really start to add up. Bunnies are a huge commitment. It's just like getting a cat or dog. Actually, according to National Geographic, bunnies are the third most adopted pet in America, and the third most given up. So if you want to get a bunny for your kid at Easter, stick to the chocolate bunnies, or a really cute stuffed animal. If you feel like your kid's ready for more responsibility of taking care of a pet, try starting out small, with fish, and or like a hamster, because sometimes hamsters, they're still small, and they make great starter pets, but they don't live for nearly as long. They live 1 to 4 years, I believe, whereas rabbits live to 8 to 12 when they're taken care of properly. They've got very sensitive stomachs. They're just very sensitive critters. They get stressed out, and it's not a good, healthy environment. You have to take into account that when you're getting a rabbit, you are accepting the responsibility of taking care of a whole new life. And they don't always like that. People often don't realize that just by getting a $20, $30 rabbit at Petland is going to cost them hundreds of dollars over the years, between paying like $200 to get your rabbit fixed, neutered or spayed, between yearly checkups to the vet to make sure everything's still okay, or emergency visits to a vet if something's wrong. Like Fluffernutter here, he's got a sensitive stomach. He doesn't do too well with stress or food that doesn't really suit rabbits, so he's had to go to the bunny ICU twice. Bunnies are classified as exotic pets. They aren't run-of-the-mill. Despite being the third most adopted, their bodies are so tiny and they operate so differently from cats and dogs that they're classified as exotic, which makes trips to the vet much more expensive and so much harder to get to, because it's not like dog vets or cat vets that you see everywhere. You have to go out of your way and go to a place like Pender to get your bunny taken care of. Isn't that right, Nugget? Yeah, he's agreeing with me right now. This is his agreeing face. So before you make ill-advised decisions and think, let's just go get a rabbit because it's a great idea, how about you take a minute, stop and think about what you're really doing, and if you're actually prepared for the kind of commitment that taking care of such a loving, trusting, and little pet ensues. Because although they may seem loving and trusting, you gotta build up to it. Like with any wild animal, you have to finger tame. They may be domesticated, but they're still prey animals. They're still scared. They need patience and love, and they don't need a 5-year-old pulling on their ears. Easter bunnies are all well and good, but with this Easter season coming up, be careful to think twice before you grab one of these. And tell your neighbors and friends if you know they're looking into a rabbit. They're a long commitment, they need money, and they need patience.